Hi everyone, I'm Donna Stellhorn, your practical astrologer, and today we are talking about the lunar eclipse. It is on September 7. It's at 15 degrees of Pisces, and this, along with the solar eclipse that's on September 21, this is a pair of pretty intense eclipses. So we're going to concentrate in this video on the lunar eclipse and what it may mean for you. This video is a little bit different than my usual videos. There's no tutorial in this video at the end because I wanted to really focus on the eclipses and give you more information. And so those tutorials will be coming back after we finish eclipse season. Okay, Pisces, this is your lunar eclipse, and that means that the change that has to happen has to come from within you. You make the decision that you want to do something different, that you want something different in your life, and that starts this process. Now, it also means that there's a lot of possibly stressful, possibly exciting energy with other people. This could mean that a new person is coming into your life that really turns your world upside down. And that doesn't necessarily mean a love relationship. This could be a friendship where she or he has wild ideas, or this could be a new business partnership. But at the same time, eclipses often close a door and then open a new door, which would mean something is leaving your life as well. And that also could be a friendship, a relationship partner, or some sort of business partnership or collaboration. So because this eclipse is in your own sign, you can feel it more intensely than other signs. So think back to the last time we had this set of eclipses, and that would be September 2006. If you remember what was going on during that time, then the things that happened could be somewhat similar, with the difference that you now have more experience, you've been through it before, so it's basically like you're standing on your own shoulders, like you know what to do this time to make it better. So whether that's a move, whether that is a new relationship, you know how to do this. The majority of the time when you are doing the eclipses that are in your own sign, the changes that happen over the course of 6 months, or no matter, like we're going to get another set of Pisces, Virgo eclipses. So, but during that time, the changes are so beneficial that you look back on them and say, oh, I'm so glad that happened. I'm so glad I made that change. Now, during the change, it can feel really stressful. So keep in mind that there is going to be a time pretty soon that you're looking back and saying, I am so glad that that happened. But the purpose, I think, of the eclipses and all of these transit challenges is to remind us that we can handle it. We continue to handle things. You continually solve problems and move through the world, and things come up and they bog you down, and then you swim out of it, and you find that you are stronger and better because you did it. It's those things where we look back, where we said, yeah, I was able to get past this. That's what these eclipses are trying to teach. And with the Pisces energy, it is to call on the bigger energies of the universe to help you. You don't have to do it alone. Pisces energy means there's no boundaries between you and the greater universe. So the universe is here and can help you. You just need to ask. So if you were given the chance to completely change one part of your life, what would it be? Take a moment and think about this, because oftentimes that answer will tell you where the eclipse is falling in your chart. And so when we have an eclipse, especially an eclipse that affects the sun in the chart, what gets affected is how you describe yourself and to others. Then, just less than a month later, Venus opposes the eclipse degree, and that happens on October 1st. And that's going to be some sort of maybe announcement about commerce, about prices, about goods, because Venus rules the Taurus energy, which is the stuff that we want to have. Now, probably the 410 hit is considered one of the most stressful because it is about home and career. And of course, you can mitigate a lot of this energy by leaning in and making as many changes as you can in those areas. Now, when it comes to love relationships, specifically new love, the moon's not making an aspect with Neptune, but it's making a beautiful trine with Jupiter. A love relationship is possible. Now, meeting somebody during an eclipse is, well, it can make a relationship either really exciting or highly dramatic. And so if you do meet someone, or if someone's pursuing you for a love relationship, you may want to put off meeting them until October. But even if that can't happen, like if you are, like you just meet them in person and you feel that connection, just recognize that eclipse energy is overlaying this relationship right now. And until that energy is clear, there may be some drama. Now, when it comes to existing love relationships, Mercury's not making an aspect with Neptune. And as I have said, this eclipse is affecting your relationship. So it's quite possible the two of you need to come together to work out something, but you're really coming from very different perspectives. And it's challenging without an aspect to put yourself in the other person's shoes. So if you could wait until outside the eclipse period, which would be October, to actually work things out, that could help. But if there's something external to the relationship that you really have to deal with, just be aware that the two of you are not on the same page as you usually are, or that you're not really understanding each other. And so take the time and go through it slowly, because without an aspect, it means it's challenging to understand how the other person is thinking. Now, when it comes to your money, you pull money from Mars, which is in the sign of Libra now, and that's about balance. And when it comes to money, that would be balance out your investments, balance out your sources of income. If you only have a single source of income, it's time to look to see how you can gain some assets so that you could gain more income from a passive source. This is about looking at the balance of what you give and what you receive. Are those out of balance? A lot of Pisces I know do a lot of giving and struggle with receiving. So looking at those issues and seeing what you can put back into balance is what this Mars is suggesting. Now, when it comes to money from business or from investments, Mars is making a nice sextile to Venus. So it's likely you're going to make a little bit more money than you have in previous 2-week periods. That's great. To really capitalize on this, you have to take some action, because with a sextile, not much happens until you do something. But if you lean into your investments and your business, it's quite possible that you could do quite well over this next 2 weeks. But when it comes to money derived from career, that's a paycheck, it's a different story, because Mars is not making an aspect with Saturn. So the Saturn has moved out of a money house for you, and so everything could be on hold. Even if you had started these talks a little while ago, they may say, oh, we're going to wait till the end of the year. And I wouldn't even expect it then. I would expect it in late January or February, when Saturn gets back into Aries. Oh yeah, it's February. So, and at that point, then you're going to have some active energy to work with. It's likely a raise is going to get put off. You could possibly get some perks, but even those aren't quite a fit for what you're looking for. That could mean that, they give you a new chair, but it's not any more comfortable than the old chair. Or they give you a new office and it still doesn't have a great view, or something like that. So with this, if you're pursuing a raise, kind of back off, because they're going to say, let's wait anyway. And if you're negotiating for more money in a new job, you may have to accept the idea that we'll talk about your salary once you've been here 3 months or once you've been here 6 months. Now, I have pre-recorded a class on these 2 eclipses, and this class covers what houses the eclipse is going to fall in your chart and the planets that could be affected. If you want to know more about this class and get access, there is a link in the description. Or consider having a reading, and that link is also in the description.